This is chapter 5 of the second part. Rishikesh, a city in India. It was immediately evident, was ruled by mendicants and monkeys. Both roamed the streets and byways freely, and both were given a grudging respect by the populace. The mendicants for having forsaken conventional life in search of God, and the monkeys as earthly surrogates of the monkey god Hanuman, the remover of obstacles. The difference between the two was that the ochre-robed mendicants were unencumbered and wandered alone, a sturdy staff in one hand and a begging bowl in the other, whereas the monkeys were part of a large social network, moving about in marauding bands, constantly on the lookout for any opportunity to terrorize and steal. A bus crammed full with pilgrims would cheerfully go over a bluff, then hurt a hair of a mendicant or monkey. The address my Sanskrit teacher, Miss Nandi, had scribbled on a torn piece of paper, a haunt of Siddhs, my guru-to-be, she said, led us to an ashram, a conglomeration of a 2-story concrete building overlooking the Ganga, which you may know as the Ganges, as the Greeks first called it, the holy river. At the first glimpse of the river, Jatayu parked the car, jumped out and made a full-body prostration facing the river. Mata Ganga is God in liquid form only, madame, he explained. After he unloaded my bags, he said, "You want sightseeing? You call me. I come right away." "But I'm here for 3 days, Jatayu. I'm sure I can hire a taxi." No problem, he said. "I am not going back to Delhi. I am only staying here. My uncle is in the next town. You call me, no problem." "It is a great comfort for me to know you are here, Jatayu," I said. He put his palms together and bowed solemnly. I was directed to a room on the upper floor of one of the hostels in acknowledgement of my elevated status and anticipated wealth, courtesy of Gerhard Industries, which in the last chapter she blackmailed. I changed into one of the extravagant purchases I had made at the hotel boutique. A long pale blue skirt beaded and shot through with pieces of mirror, a high-waisted and low-cut silk-tailored blouse over which I draped a filmy silk shawl. My newly washed and curled, shimmering hair framed my subtly made-up face, and large silver hoop earrings and a diamond-shaped paste-on dot, a bindi, on my forehead, completed the ensemble. My old, beautiful, all-too-human self was peeking through after a long hiatus. I briskly stepped down to the river in the direction suggested by the receptionist. Some distance away, where the riverbank turned to sandy beach, I found Siddh, on his haunches, intently studying a large, crumpled map spread out before him. He caught sight of me and stood. A Himalayan pheasant swooped down and perched on a branch nearby. 2 sannyasis, renunciates, in ochre robes came down to the river, gave us a curious glance, waved at Siddh, then turned back to the ashram. "You look happy," I said. For a moment, confusion clouded his face. He did not recognize me. "Happy to see you, I imagine," he said, recovering nicely. "I was in the neighborhood and thought I'd drop by. Harry, your friend—" "Hari," he corrected. "Hari Narayan." "Yes, Hari, of course. I should have known." "Narayan? Come to think of it, I just met a Padma Narayan. Any relation?" "Of course it's a common enough name." "His wife." Small world, I exclaimed. Again, he seemed confused. 6 degrees of separation, I clarified. He didn't seem to know. Hari said to me where I could find you. I've been studying the text that you sent me. I can't make out much of it. Now Hari has given me a second text. It's a short one, but also obscure and full of riddles. It includes a commentary that does not help and only adds to my... I was teetering like a schoolgirl, somehow disarmed by his faded blue jeans, cotton shirt, and unlaced sneakers. I was also conscious of being completely and inappropriately overdressed. I handed him the 2 paperbacks, and while he leafed through them, I surreptitiously peeled off the bindi from my forehead and removed the hoop earrings. Why had I come? And why here? I came for advice, for comfort, for Sid. I needed reassurance that my one decision to enter Gerhard's dirty world for the most important of reasons had not hurt me irrevocably. I wanted approval, a pat on the back, but for the second time he had failed to recognize me. He held up the Mandukya Upanishad. Hari maintains that this is all you need, he said. This is if you can make sense of it. Will you teach me? I asked. He picked up the map and carefully folded it. Yes, he said, but first, lunch. The ashram dining hall greeted us with a sign, "Silence is golden," in blue curlicue letters. Orange-clad Swami, seated on the floor in orderly rows, monotonously chanted several verses of a prayer. We waited until the chanting concluded, washed our hands at a tap, and headed to a section reserved for guests. I lowered myself to the floor by first gingerly getting onto my knees, mindful that the pain from my old wound could surface at the slightest aggravation, and that the wound itself could open. My awkwardness was unnoticed. Perhaps it was assumed that, as a foreigner, I could only sit comfortably in a chair. A serving boy scurried around, spreading banana leaves in front of each diner, and sequentially dumping rice, curries, and a crisp, spicy wafer, a papad, on each leaf. We all ate quickly, keeping to a solemn silence that was unfortunately broken by the shrill clatter of metal pots and pans and shouts from the kitchen, the cawing of crows fighting over a morsel just outside, and the mooing of the ashram cow and her calf. I was disappointed at not being able to engage in small talk that sharing a meal allows. We ate quickly, washed our plates and utensils, then stepped out into an arboretum. An arboretum of shade trees, shrubs, and herbaceous plants. I'm here for 3 days, I said. 3 whole days to learn the secret to immortality? We'd better get going, he said. When I'd asked Sid to teach me, I may have sounded casual and even flippant, but I was sincere. The 2 texts did intrigue me, but I had come to this mountain retreat at the foothills of the Himalayas for a few days of rest and relaxation, a well-deserved reward for having saved the lives of 5 children, as well as managing to fund Mother Gabriel's grandiose schemes. No mean feat. What I did not count on was Sid's earnestness in taking up my request for instruction. His method was the ancient technique, that of a dialogue. For 2 days, as we strolled along the river, we sat under a banyan tree, or occupied a table in the ashram library. I was subject to a drill on various subjects, many of my own choosing: the nature of reality, creation of theories, consciousness, science, God, and so on. Sometimes we spoke as equals, 2 friends chatting, but at other times I was clearly the student. I might not have sat at his feet like a boy in a gurukulam, an early version of the English public school, but I was always close, physically and mentally. I was flattered by the attention, but this was no vacation. So, we will begin her teachings of the secrets of immortality next time. We will pause our reading of Moksha, liberation, there for now. So, thank you for listening. And namaste.